I have returned to the coast, not to the loud places today, not to the busy beach, not to the waves that call out to everyone. Today, I followed a quieter path. An old sailor once told me a strange thing. He said the North Sea has more than one shore. I laughed at first, because everyone knows where the shore is. It is where the water meets the land, where the tide comes in, where the wind carries salt across your face. But the old sailor only smiled. He said, "Elderwood, the sea does not end where the waves stop. Sometimes it travels deeper into the land. Not as water, but as memory." And so today I went looking for that memory. A hidden lake, a small tower, and an old beacon standing quietly behind the coast. Perhaps this is only a walk through a peaceful place. Or perhaps this is the second shore. At first, there is no sea here, only trees, grass, a path between green shadows, and then water. A small lake, almost hidden from the world. No waves, no ships, no gulls fighting the wind. Only quiet water and the slow movement of swans. This is not the coast most travelers are looking for. There are no grand cliffs here, no dramatic storms, no famous horizon. But quiet places have their own way of speaking. They do not shout, they wait. The old sailor said that some waters remember the sea, even when they no longer belong to it. Maybe he meant places like this. A lake behind the coast, still and sheltered, almost secret. The surface does not break. The reeds barely move. The trees lean close as if they are listening. And in this silence, the land feels older. Not empty, not forgotten, only patient. Perhaps the first lesson of the second shore is this. Not every place touched by the sea still looks like the sea. Some places keep the memory quietly. In water, in grass, in the slow passing of light. The lake opens into the landscape. When we look from the ground, the lake feels small. A hidden pocket of water, a peaceful corner. But when the view begins to rise, the secret changes. The lake is no longer alone. it belongs to something larger. Fields, paths, trees, dikes, open sky. From above, the land begins to reveal its shape. Not a straight line between land and sea, but a soft border folded over time. Water here, grass there, a tower in the distance, a beacon waiting beyond. The coast is not only a place, it is a condition. A way the land remembers pressure, wind, flood, shelter, departure, return. The old sailor said, if you want to understand the coast, do not only stand where the waves are loud, walking behind them. Look where the land becomes quiet. Now I begin to understand. The sea may not be visible in every direction, but it has shaped everything here. And then there is the tower. Not a lighthouse, not a castle, not a monument built to impress. Just a small tower standing above the grass. But even a small tower changes a place. It asks us to look differently. From below, we see only what is near. A path, a railing, a line of trees. From above, the world begins to connect. The hidden lake, the open land, the distant coast, the old beacon. All of them become part of one quiet map. Maybe that is why people build towers. Not only to see farther, but to understand that what seemed separate was connected all along. The lake was not just a lake. The tower was not just a tower. The beacon was not only waiting at the end. They were all pieces of the same story. And Elderwood has learned this many times. Some truths are not hidden because they are far away. They are hidden because we stand too close. So we rise a little, not to escape the earth, but to see how the earth has been written. From here, the old sailor's words return. The North Sea has more than one shore. I used to think that was only a tale. Seemannsgarn, as people here might say. A thread of story, twisted by wind and time. But every coast has such stories. Stories told by fishermen, by lighthouse keepers, by those who waited for the ships, and those who did not return with them. They know something we often forget. The sea is not only water. It is distance, risk, work, hope, fear, memory. And if the sea can live in a person's mind, why could it not also live in the land behind the dike? In a quiet lake, in a tower, in a path through the grass. Perhaps the second shore is not made of waves. Perhaps it is made of traces. The places where the sea is no longer visible, but still present. A shore of silence, a shore of waiting, a shore that does not ask to be photographed, but rewards those who stay long enough to feel it. Today, we are not walking away from the sea. We are walking through what the sea has left behind. And now we come to the old beacon, Big Bertha. She does not stand like the grand lighthouses of stories, high above black cliffs, with storm waves exploding below. She stands here more quietly, near grass, near paths, near the open edge of the land. But perhaps that makes her more interesting. A famous beacon tells you where the danger is. A quiet beacon tells you that even small places can carry old responsibilities. She has seen wind moving over the dike. She has seen the sky change above the coast. She has stood through ordinary days, which are often the truest days of all. The old sailor would have liked her, not because she is dramatic, but because she proves his story. The sea is not only where the ships pass, it is also here, in the fields behind, in the towers that rise above the grass, in the old structures that still remember why they were built. Big Bertha is not the end of the journey. She is the moment when the journey becomes clear. We began beside hidden water. We rose above the land. And now we stand before a beacon that seems to say, "You were near the sea the whole time, even when you could not see it." That is the mystery of this place. Not that something strange is hidden here, but that something obvious was hidden from us. The coast was never only the beach. The shore was never only the line of waves. There was another shore behind it, and we have been traveling along it all day. Maybe every landscape has a second shore, a quieter version of itself. The part we miss when we only look for the famous view. A city has its back streets. A forest has its clearings. A coast has its hidden water, its small towers, its old beacons behind the noise of the waves. These places do not compete with the great landmarks. They complete them. The beach shows us the meeting of land and sea, but the second shore shows us what remains after that meeting. The shape left behind, the memory left in the soil, the silence after the tide. And perhaps that is why I like these places. They do not demand belief. They only ask for attention. Stay a little longer. Look a little slower. Let the wind speak first. Then the story appears. The old sailor was right. There is a second shore, not made of waves, but of quiet water, grass, towers, and memory. The sea was not in front of us today. It was around us, behind the trees, under the sky, inside the land itself. And maybe that is the secret of this coast. The sea does not only shape the places it touches, it also shapes the places it leaves behind. Thank you for watching. This is Panoria 360.